The trial of Donna Adelson, it is coming up later this year. We just recently learned that the hitman who went and took out Dan Markell is planning on testifying against her in the case. Joining me to discuss, Shavaun Scott, psychotherapist and author, as we start to dive deeper into Donna Adelson and the psychology of who this woman is. I think we're learning about a very narcissistic mother, a very controlling narcissistic mother, and they're interesting folks when it comes down to it. The control that they can exert over their adult children is kind of shocking sometimes, and sometimes people just get away and they're like, I don't want any more of this. But clearly, I think the Adelson family stayed pretty tied together for the most part, even into adulthood. Let's take a listen to what Wendy Adelson had to say about her on the stand. That I want to get your take on who Donna Adelson is as we're getting closer and closer to that trial. Let's take a look.
It reads, however, the rest of your life and consequently Dad's, mine, and yes, even Charlie's will be affected by how well you can perform/act before July 31st. You need to be a good actress or you can be a good actress when you want to. I've seen you in action. You need to put on the performance of your life. Jibbers hasn't beaten the Adelson family yet. Who's Jibbers?
Jibbers, she's referring to Danny.
So in this, again, your mom is referencing how everyone's life is being affected by this relocation, including your brother, Charlie. Do you agree with that?
That is what she said, yes.
All right. Is your mom overprotective of you?
Yes.
All right. And is it fair to say she's, a little on the controlling side?
I don't think she's controlling, but she's definitely overprotective.
I mean, a lot of kids who are still enmeshed in, or adults who are with their parents still enmeshed in that relationship aren't going to see that controlling, side. They're going to see it more as, oh, she's just overly concerned. And I think that's probably where they're at, or at least Wendy was at that moment in time. What's your take on Donna from what we learned about that? Because that was her letter to Wendy, or a text to Wendy, talking about what she needs to do after that murder.
Just shocking. I mean, talking about incriminating, right?
Hmm.
And you hit the nail on the head with enmeshed family. It's bizarrely enmeshed. And I think it's healthier when kids are dealing with a parent like that. They move across the country,
Hmm.
they try to individuate and become their own selves. This almost had the sense of a crime family.
Yeah.
We hang together. Nobody gets us. Nobody's taking us down. Really horrendous and creepy. And it makes my skin crawl when I run into parents like that.
Can you explain? I know what it is, but you're going to explain it a hell of a lot better than I can. Enmeshment with a family like this, and just kind of the dynamics of how that works. How one is kind of taking this role, one's taking that role, and everybody kind of has to play their part. Otherwise, things get kind of crazy.
I think you explained that really well.
Well, there you
Yeah,
go.
it's enmeshment. It's the lack of boundaries between one person's identity and the other person's identity. So parents that tend to be enmeshed, they live through their children. They, consider that everything their children is doing is about them. They don't see their children as separate people. And yes, they are controlling whether the kids recognize it or not. There's everything the parent does, there's a strategy, and they use their kids to meet their own needs rather than seeing that, hey, my kid is an individual. I gave birth
Mhm.
to them. But that's, after they're 18, they're living their own life. And in enmeshed families, there's just this sense it's really icky, and this ongoing sense of there's this incredible unity that one affects the other all the time. Because in grad school, I remember them saying an enmeshed family is where someone sneezes in the room and everybody jumps forward to react with a tissue.
Mhm.
It's just like this over responsiveness to each other.
Can an enmeshed family be created just by like one individual, like Donna here, or do you have to have multiple narcissistic personalities in the family of mom and dad, or mom and maybe one of the kids or something, to really create that tighter bond and that reinforcement of that bond, or can it just be done and really, the driving force be one person?
I'm not anti-mom by any means,
Hmm.
but when I see these kind of families, it usually is a very dominating, narcissistic, strong-willed, controlling mother who seems to set the tone for the family like that. And narcissistic parents often have narcissistic kids, for whatever combination of biology and environment goes on to create that. But it's sort of bizarre, and I'm almost laughing because I'm seeing faces as we talk about this, of the power some moms have to create this. And if you have a very passive dad, they just sort of hand the power over to her and go right along with it.
I'm kind of laughing because I'm seeing faces as well as you're talking
Yeah.
about it. And this is, I mean, when we're talking about the Adelsons, let's talk about the father here in all of this, because Harvey, he's been pretty quiet through all of this,
Yeah.
and has not been charged with anything. From what we can tell, he is kind of the quiet dad. They're kind of
Yeah.
playing that exact role that you're talking about there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I typically see. In fact, I can't think of an enmeshed family where I have not seen that. Passive dad, dominating narcissistic mom. And when the kids become healthy, they move across the country. They may not cut all ties, but
Mhm.
they definitely get some distance. But there are those families where the kids just don't ever do that. And it doesn't ever end well. There's always, not necessarily in murder,
Sure.
but you end up with a lot of really pathological stuff.
Donna Adelson was handed through an undercover officer an envelope with some information in. This is when the police were on to what was going on, and they wanted to get her reaction of what is in this envelope, what is this about, and it's about the hit on Dan. She plays kind of stupid in the street, but then eventually makes a call to Charlie Adelson. Let's take a listen to that phone call. This is Donna and Charlie.
Hi, Mom. How's it going?
Oh, sorry. I grabbed the wrong one. This is Donna and
Write
Charlie.
a letter to you or something?
I got some paperwork hand delivered to me.
You're being sued?
No, that's what I thought it was, but I'm going to talk to you.
Does it involve me or other people?
Well, probably both of them.
What's that?
Probably the two of them. So you probably have a general idea what I'm talking about.
It's kind of hard to understand her, but basically, what she does say in there, it involves you and me. Well, again, kind of incriminating. It's interesting, her whispering on the
Yeah.
phone as
Yeah.
if, like, what are you doing? I mean, it's like, if you're going to be picked up regardless. But what's your
Right.
reaction to that? Where Donna is she's kind of realizing that maybe some people are, at this point she doesn't realize it's another undercover officer. She thinks this is just kind of part of the mafioso type hit deal that's going on, and discussing it with Charlie.
Yeah, she's certainly trying to be cagey. And, this is a smart lady. She's, in many cases has terrible judgment and she's pathological, but she's not stupid.
Hmm.
And yeah, it also makes me think of a crime boss.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. I want to watch one more clip here of the whole clan. This is Wendi. This is her being interrogated, but reacting as some of the officers tell her that Don Markell has been shot and is not going to make it. I'm curious because, again, Wendi, no charges ever made against her. And obviously, this was her ex-husband, or so usually that's the person we're talking about that they're going after, but it's everybody but her this far. Let's take a look and we'll talk about her reactions on the other side.
There was a shooting at your home, or your ex-husband's home, at 2116 Trescott. Okay. Your ex-husband, Daniel, all right, has been taken to the hospital. He's not going to survive.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I have a lot of friends.
I know.
How do you know that?
Well, you had two of them up there for a last-minute lunch date, right?
Last minute.
Well, I mean, you went up there. You're sitting with them. You have friends.
I do. What I meant by it is that Danny didn't treat me very well, and I'm
Okay.
so scared that maybe someone did this. Not because they hate Danny, but because they thought this was good somehow.
Oh, are you saying that you think maybe one of your friends would have done something
Who
like
would
this?
do this?
I don't know. That's why you're here, and that's why we're talking. Would you ever ask someone to do something like this?
Not in a million years.
Okay. Do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you?
No.
What good does it serve?
I made my brother, his name's Charlie, the one I'm really close to. He makes a lot of jokes in bad taste, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay to fix it or whether I should get a new one, and it was always his joke that, like, he knew Danny treated me badly, and it was always his joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman, and it was cheaper to get you this TV, so instead I got you this TV. I mean, he would never. He's my big brother, and he's been taking care of me since I was little, but he would never. And I told that to the repair guy this morning.
Right. That's okay.
I said, he asked me how much it cost, and I said I didn't know because it was a gift, because my brother said it was cheaper than a hitman. It was my divorce present.
Okay.
Such a horrible thing to say. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
But even my family, who felt like I had been mistreated, would never do something like this. Never.
Consciousness of guilt. I mean, she's literally offering everyone up on a platter, going, it wasn't it wasn't Charlie. He just made jokes about killing him. My whole family, they don't like him, but they wouldn't do this either. I mean, why would you even bring those things up?
Yeah, it makes, I mean, her reaction, her shock certainly looks genuine. Do people fake those things sometimes? Yes. But, is it possible that on some level it rang true for
Yeah.
her? Because, why even mention it if you didn't have this sense of, oh my God, this could be what
Mhm.
they orchestrated?
And sense of is one thing. I mean, you can kind of get, one can connect dots and go, I think this person might do something like this. But if you don't have proof of it, you don't know about it, you can't predict it, and you really can't do anything in terms of stopping them if you want, unless you go and talk to them. But you can't go and press charges or something like that unless there's actually something that's going on. But if you know about it, that's a little bit different. From Wendy, do you think it was just kind of that sense of, I wouldn't put it past these people to do this. Again, because probably of that meshed family where everybody's looking
Yeah.
out for each other in such an extreme way that's kind of how she knows life works with the Adelsons.
Yeah. And it seems like if she were truly in on the plot and knew when it was going to happen, she wouldn't have brought up her brother.
Yeah.
She would have just been very careful to not go there and maybe have some alternate suspects in mind, or, maybe it could have been so and so. You would have thought that she would have had the awareness to direct away from her family rather than mentioning them all.
Yeah, that was the weird thing. It does make me wonder, as they kind of take the Adelsons down one by one, if we ever are going to see charges against Wendy. And I don't know that we will. Because I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't. She's the one of all of these people that I really kind of feel maybe didn't know, but
Maybe didn't know.
knew the
Mhm.
potential of her family. We'll
Yeah.
find out. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to follow us wherever you download podcasts, and especially Apple Podcasts, where you can get advanced episode and premium content on our premium channel right there. Also, be sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss any breaking updates on the stories that matter to you most. We're on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Brueski, and you'll find us right there. Again, thanks for watching.